All right, a little collision. I'm not going to talk about everything because it's not necessary. We know it wasn't a bad show. There's a mostly set up for Revolution, so it's not really a lot here. Look, the triple threat, I believe it was a triple threat, and it's for basically the scramble match that's coming in Revolution. It was to bring someone in. Now, I kind of wish it had been Brian Keefe. Even though the Bounty Hunter is not one of the best characters, he's not one of the greatest wrestlers, I think he would have been more interesting being in the match than Dante Martin. Because Dante has been there, and yes, I know he only just came back after his ankle injury, but I felt like Brian Keefe would have been better. Now, Mariah May going against the one named Risk. It really didn't matter. Because of what happened afterward, that's all they cared about. Because once Tastes Tony Storm, yeah, I'm calling her. She's my Tastes Tony Storm. She's juicy. There's no way you can't say she's juicy. She's juicy. But her calling out, and this is the thing that I love the most. I don't know about anyone else. Perspective, how can I say this? The perspective of getting black and white on the same screen when Tony and Deanna was on the camera. When the camera was dead in their faces and you see Tastes Tony Storm in black and white and Deanna Purrazzo in color. I don't know about anyone else. They probably think, oh, this is stupid. Why do they keep doing it? It works perfectly. I love seeing this variation. WWE ain't doing it. Impact Wrestling TNA ain't doing it. It's particularly that we don't know how their style is going to be yet. We don't see not one person doing something that different. And I commend if it's Tony that came up with this, if it was Darby Allin. I do believe it might have been Darby who came up with this concept for her. It could be Tony. But I do believe that this was Darby Allin who came up with this because he's that kind of a style of filmmaker because he did go to college for film. So he has that understanding of it. It just felt good to see something that different. Not everyone's going to like it. They're going to be annoyed with it. And when you see that Tony is saying, look, I love you. Let's not do this anymore. But Deanna says, you've forgotten who you're dealing with. I can be the greatest friend or the most fiercest person you ever meet. And what do we get? A little lipstick, a kiss on the cheek, and a quick fight. And the destruction of her... I'll give you like this. Mariah May, in this point, may have gotten the win against Risk, but she was only there to get destroyed. To make it look more important for... pretty much for Revolution. That's it. Now, the one thing I was very interested in was Selena Deeps. Now, I'm not happy that they're not really doing much with Selena Deeps. I'm sorry. If you're liking what she's doing, I'm not. Because they should be doing something more with her dealing with I'm sorry. Why not dealing with a Tony Storm? I know because of Deanna Purrazzo, but I want to see her deal with Tony Storm if she doesn't survive Deanna. I want to see Deanna deal with a Selena Deeps if she wins. I want to see due to the fact of what happened with Thunder Rosa and her winning her match against Golden, she's probably going to be the next person to go up against Julia Hart. But I want to see Selena Deeps do something more than just put someone over. And when she talks about the boss, that she is the final boss, we know for a fact that it's going to be I know everyone's not going to be happy about it. They'd rather see in WWE where, I've already said it. When you look at Naomi, tell me below, whoever's going to watch this video, it's not going to be many, does Naomi look good? Or does she look like she's being punished because she left and finally came back? Because that's the way it looks. It's not that they're just not booking her much. It feels to me that she's being punished. Like what happened with Triple H. When the Clique left and he was the only one left behind, guess what happened? He had to eat shit and like the taste of it. That's the way it feels like for Naomi. So if you wanted Sasha to have that deal, me and you, we can't be friends because that's not right for anyone to go through. Not Naomi, not Sasha, not anybody. You don't need to be eaten alive by the very ones that know it was wrong. But Mercedes Moné, I have no problem with her coming into AEW. But I do wish that Selena Deeps could have more than just putting someone over who's very well known. I'm just saying. What is Private Party doing with Jeff Jarrett's crew? I don't know why. I mean, I'm not talking about Christopher Daniel, not talking about Seidel. It's not the point. What is Private Party doing? They just stopped working with Matt and Jeff Hardy. And now, supposedly, they're going to be working with Jeff Jarrett, Karen Jarrett, Sanjay, Jay Lethal, and Satnam Singh. Really? I just don't get it. Maybe it's due to the fact there's something I'm missing due to the fact I haven't seen much for Collision or Rampage for that matter, unless they're doing it on RH where I've not seen anything of. There must be a story. I don't know. I'm going to give it to you like this. I'm leaving out the Bang Bang Scissor Gang. I knew they're going to win. The question is, what are they doing with them? They're letting them do what? We got 2 sets of trios titles. One, the 6-man tag championship, and one, the trios. I don't know what they're doing with them. The only option that makes the best sense for me personally is to merge those titles and end it. Let those 6 titles merge into one set of titles and go across RH and AEW. That makes the best sense. I'm just saying. The 8-man tag, which had 2 stories in there, which was fine. I mean, Orange Cassidy dealing with Roderick Strong, and pretty much Garcia dealing with a Christian Cage. There's no problem with that. I didn't have a problem even the fight afterward. The question's going to be, how far are they going to go with each of these individuals? Are they really going to do something more with a Orange Cassidy? Because Roderick Strong could just win and that'll be the end of it, but what will Orange do? And then Garcia is the biggest question out of anything. Daniel Garcia really is popular. You wonder what's going to go with him, but then you don't know. I just don't know. Last 2 things to talk about. This is one I really am interested in. Bryan Danielson versus Eddie Kingston. If Eddie wins, Bryan's got to shake his hand. As I said before, this is the one thing I wanted for Eddie Kingston to be respected by all his peers. Not just a Bryan Danielson. Bryan Danielson, a Samoa Joe, unfortunately if he wasn't gone, a CM Punk, and Claudio Castagnoli. I would have liked one match where all those guys, well, one of them is in the ring with him, and the rest are outside, and they basically said flat out, this is the most important match for you. We always thought you had some potential, but now you have to prove to us with this match that we believe in you and that we will show you the respect you finally deserve. All of them. We don't get that. We only get this one match where if he wins, he get a handshake and finally respect from Bryan Danielson before he retires. Because if anybody remembers, Bryan nearing the end now. We're in the next year. He said it very clearly. Near somewhere in this year, his daughter's birthday. When that happened, he's retired. No different than Sting. Now, we didn't see Sting on this show, but this is another retirement we're getting soon. Last thing will be Swerve and his talk. What did I tell you? What did I say? Swerve Strickland was eventually going to make this being about a black thing. Now, look, I want to make this clear. With almost 10 minutes left, now 9 minutes into this. Guys, I'm not against Swerve. I like Swerve. I always said he got a great talking ability. He has the gift of gab. The guy can rap. One of the things I wasn't sure about, next to him being very good in the ring, was he able to sell very good as well as give? He's got to be able to take it as much as give. And he has done better. But one thing I knew what was going to happen if he was going for the title, that he was going to make this a black thing. Look, guys, I'm not against Swerve or anyone else saying I will be the first of my people. No problem with that. But for me personally, I wish it had not happened. Just this once. Just this once that he just says, I've never been treated right, not because of my race, but because no one ever believed me because I was a freaking rapper at one point. I want to prove that I am more than just a damn rapper. Yes, it'll be obvious he's black. There's no problem. But as a rapper who wanted to become a wrestler, or a wrestler wanted to become a rapper, and basically is not caring more about rapping, he's caring more about wrestling, that's when I kind of hoped. But we didn't get that with him. He's doing the simple stereotype that, well, they've never had a black champion before, I'll be the first. It's just sad to see it sometimes. I mean, I understand it. Like Kofi. Kofi was special. He had never had his chance. We knew that things were screwed up, particularly when it came to Randy Orton. Even if Randy's not a bad guy, he screwed over Kofi by not being happy with the work that he had with Kofi. I'm not saying Randy's a bad guy. He learned his lesson and him and Kofi are friends now. But I'm not going to lie to you. Sometimes it's just not great to see that the stereotype is still there. Sometimes I just wish they wouldn't go there. And other times, yes, I wouldn't mind if they did. Because sometimes stereotypes work. But here, I didn't think they needed it. But they are going there with him. And he's more than fine with it. And as being part black, a part of me is cool with it. But the other part of me, who's a reviewer, who's a guy who's seen wrestling for more than majority of his life. I'm 53 this year. I've been watching wrestling since I was, 6 or 7 years old. Over 40 years. Okay? It's been over 40 years since I've been watching wrestling since I was a kid. And even with that gap of 10 years, it's still something there. I mean, on and off throughout that 10 years, I did see wrestling on and off. So I can say practically it's been almost 40 years for me. But I just wish it wouldn't go there sometimes. But that's just me. This will probably still be a good show. But I'm not going to lie. What are we really getting with Sting? I'm hoping this is going to be a great match for him. Because this show is only about Sting. Look. If I'm going to do any prediction, it's only one I'm doing. For Revolution. Sting retires with his tag belt. They print new belts. And they go from there. That's what I think is the wisest thing to do. Do not let Sting lose to the Bucks and let them take the titles. I know that many people say, well, that's a very cliche. That's a trope. Why do we have to let Sting take the title? Why not? Why not? Look, he deserves it. It's my point of view. Yes, you can say no. You can explain why. But I think it'll be a really good feel moment, which will really get them good merchandise sales. I'm just saying.